Hey, this is Jose Galison on No Way Jose. We're part of the Liberty Movement YouTube channel. One thing I'm going to be into right now, a quick announcement before we get into our thing. I'm starting up my own channel. It's actually already been around for a while. I've just been kind of throwing videos on there, but just haven't been advertising it. But yeah, I have my own channel now, the No Way Jose channel. I'm still going to be putting content up on the Liberty Movement YouTube channel. The whole idea, though, of the Liberty Movement channel was it was supposed to be cultural and non-political. And I like that focus, but at the same time, I still kind of want to be able to do other stuff occasionally. So I may start doing like current events, maybe some political stuff here and there, but not much. I'm a non-voting anarchist, so I'm not really that political. It's not really what I'm interested in, anyways. So I just want to be able to be more open to do this stuff. I'll probably put like incentives, like maybe live stream stuff like that. But for the most part, it'll be kind of more the same that's on here, that's on the Liberty Movement channel. Every now and then, I might have like current event stuff. I'll probably put on the No Way Jose channel. I'm thinking about calling those like those bits like Jose Hangouts or something. I don't know. Probably have somebody on to shoot the shit, and we'll just talk about current events. Also, another announcement. Yeah, I mean that's to be kind of fun. There's a lot of people that's their shtick is current events, so I can have them on. If anything, it might be kind of fun because I used to be a really big current events junkie. But then in the past like year with like it's been like current events overload, and so I kind of just stopped giving a fuck, and I don't really pay attention other than like occasionally I'll pop in and be like, oh shit,
everything gets drowned out by like just crap.
Like I used to know all the details about like the different like stimulus packages and shit like that, and I'm just like, okay, we're getting 600, all right, whatever, okay. I don't give a shit. Like I know it's probably not good. It's just I kind of just checked out with as crazy as everything got, but yeah. Also, another thing, I finally got around to being legit and fucking putting all my stuff on all the audio pods. So I'm on Amazon, I'm on Apple, I'm basically everything. But anyways, my guest today, Chase to Cash. She was actually in the last episode. Just happened to work out that way. And today we're gonna be talking about anime. Yeah. So I mean, I know, like I said, cultural, non-political. We just kind of shoot the shit. Kind of do a similar template to how we've done like the comic episodes.
Yeah.
And we're gonna do a favorite. We're gonna do a favorite pick for both of us. Kind of shoot the shit about it. We're gonna do a fucking best for new people getting into anime and most liberty minded. And yeah. So yeah, Chase, you want to introduce yourself again, just real quick, in case people didn't watch the last episode.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. So I either go by Chase Koch, my legal name, or Molly Smash, my dominatrix porn star name. And I'm also in politics, ran for legislature last year, and I am the chair of the Libertarian Party of Orleans County.
Nice. So anything going on these days with you? Since, I mean, we just talked last week, but I've been started following you on Twitter and stuff, and it seems like you got a lot of shit that you're kind of like maybe in the early stages of or considering doing. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the middle of maybe starting a physical actual bookshop. If I do, obviously there's going to be like an online store version, but collaborating with a very close friend of mine, and I wanted to call it like Liberty Books, obviously. Gotta put my own little, pizzazz in it, but I definitely want to get all the libertarian authors that I know and put them like right on the front display so people know more about them and can read more about them instead of just, the typical, normally when you walk into a bookstore, especially around here, it's like all just straight liberal propaganda. So I kind of want to give somebody else, a different, something else just to get into.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I mean, really, bookstores are, I don't know, like a legit bookstore kind of has a cool aesthetic to it. Like you come in and it's like fun, but it is like, I mean, no one really goes to bookstores anymore. If anything, like, I don't know, it'd be kind of cool. You set up kind of like a vibe, almost like a comic book shop. I don't know if you hit up those often. I really like hitting up like comic book shops and stuff.
Oh no, I want to have like a whole like thing. Like the front maybe would be like just like liberty like oriented books, but I want to have all kinds. I collect all kinds of books, like 19th century books, manga books. I collect cultural anthropology books, like even like Wizard of Oz like books. So I love books. I have like 5 or 6 different like full bookshelves in my house. So since I already have a library in my house, I might as well capitalize off of it somehow.
Yeah, I'd highly suggest. I don't know if you're familiar with John Bush. We were talking before. I kind of mentioned his name quickly. Not sure if you're too familiar with him, but I know he's doing his Freedom Cells thing now. But before this, I know one of the things he kind of got his foot in the door is I don't remember what he called, but he had a bookstore thing for a while too. And I don't know, they had a lot of fun with it. He held a lot of events stuff. I think he was more of like a kind of focused on like the 9/11 truth type stuff, and that was kind of more his shtick and like his thing. And but it was kind of like in that same circle, like a lot of liberty type stuff. And so it might be someone worth talking to if you're actually legit trying to get into it. So yeah, I'm not, like I said, I don't know if you're familiar with him. I can point you in the right direction if you don't know. And
well, that one good thing about the Libertarian Party is it's very good with networking. Like we're so diverse and we all have so many different talents that like we connect really well. So
okay, cool. Well, I guess that's enough shooting the shit. So let's get into it. We're doing favorite. So I'm gonna let you go first. You're the guest. It's only fair. Beauty before Beast. So what is your favorite anime?
Okay, so this is not a very well-known one, but anybody who knows me knows my favorite genre of manga would be Yuri, and Yuri would be lesbian. So I'm pansexual, but I cannot stand reading love stories about like a boy and a girl. So my favorite one is called Scarlet. And reason being is that it's not just focusing on the fact that they're gay. It basically it's about a girl who is a vampire and the other one is a werewolf, and she like makes a pact with her saying like if she can help if the werewolf can help her become human again, that she could eat her. But the cool thing is the vampire belongs to a drug enforcement agency called the LEA, and they're tracking down people that are taking this elixir that's making them go crazy. So it's got like a whole plot to it that's really, really interesting, and I like it. And of course in the second book, I don't want to do like too much of a spoiler alert, but there's some action in it that's beyond just big titties. So it gets pretty in depth if anybody wants to know. Yes, you know, either you like watching lesbian stuff on Hallmark or you like watching it in HD. So
that is one of the funny things about anime is like explaining an anime to someone. Like even the ones I'm probably gonna go. I'm a little more vanilla when it comes to anime. I'm not like super into it. I like it. I like it a lot because it's like something me and my kids can do together. And like I kind of have like I'm not like super in anime, but it's funny. Like even like the more vanilla animes, like you fucking. Well, my point I was getting at is if you explain it, like the plot, it always sounds fucking retarded. You're like, what? But then you watch, you're like, this is fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, it has like a little bit of everything in it, like they all do.
Yeah, I know it's ridiculous on its face, but yeah. So is this like literally like a almost like a romance smut type thing, like kind of almost like the chicks will kind of read their stories like their Fabio stories, but more for lesbians kind of deal, or no?
This one's a little bit more hardcore. It's more specifically like it's kind of a teaser in the first book where it's kind of like, they don't really do anything like that much, but they get kind of like into it, like building up the nerves of like wanting to like what you want to see in the next book, but like it's just a lot of action, like just bitches kicking ass. And that's what I like about it. It's really, they don't really mention anything about like, oh, like I'm a girl, like most of them do in Yuri manga. It's like it's like a frowned upon thing, and they're trying to go around and sneak around about it. Like this one just doesn't say anything about it. They're just like, yep, I'm a girl, you're a girl, we're badass, we're And
that's a whole. I didn't know that was a thing. Like Yuri, is that just
very niche?
Is that okay? I was gonna say that's I never heard of that being a genre of it, but no, I was just assuming maybe that was kind of like because I mean anime is also one of those things that's like it's kind of a really vague term. It's kind of like saying comics. Like people think of comics and they think of I don't know, Marvel, DC, but it's like horror comics. There's romance comics. There's anything. It's the same thing goes with anime. I mean, anime really is just Japanese fucking animation. That's all it is. So like it's such a huge medium that you can tell all sorts of stories. So it's like I'm sure there are animes that are literally just love stories. Yeah. Like, obviously this isn't one of them,
like,
but I was kind
of curious and like all these other sweet ones, but like I like the action packed ones. And it's hard to find an action packed Yuri manga, so that's why I really like that one.
Yeah, I mean it's not really my shtick, the fucking like romance ones too, but okay, I'll move into mine. My favorite, I mean, like I said, I'm pretty vanilla, is Dragon Ball. It's for multiple reasons. It's been around since I can't remember, it was the late 80s, early 90s. It started with Dragon Ball. Like the character of Goku is like one who's like grew up with you. Like, I mean, I'm 29, so I fucking grew up on Dragon Ball Z as a little boy, just watching Dragon Ball Z. It was pretty violent back in the day. This is back in the day when like your parents didn't really give a shit what you watched. So I was like, or
they're just like, it's a cartoon, it can't have anything that bad in it, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Which, I mean, anime kind of generally speaking is usually like something that you kind of actually can watch with the kids. I will warn people if you're trying to watch like anime with your kids that they do. I would say they're a little bit more loose-lipped with like cursing, which I mean I don't really care, and then like violence is usually pretty off the top. Obviously, there are certain animes that are like I'm speaking generally. There are animes that are obviously like big titties and like stuff
High
like
School
that.
DxD.
Yeah.
No, don't show your kids any High School DxD.
And even then, even in some of the more tame animes, there's always like the one shtick of there's always that one character who's like a super perv. I'll get into it like my next pick for best for new readers.
Master Roshi.
Yeah, Master Roshi's a great example. But yeah, anyways, back to where Dragon Ball Z, it's or not even Z, just Dragon Ball in general. It's one that's like kind of grew up with you. Now I have a daughter who my older daughter doesn't really give a shit about it because she's like kind of more girly. But my younger daughter is more of a badass. She's 8 and she we watched Dragon Ball Super together and she fucking loved it. And now we're going back and watching old school Dragon Ball, which old school Dragon Ball, like, you know, little kid Goku is like super kiddie. And so it's like great for her. And it's like kind of funny and goofy. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just like Dragon Ball just has that like nostalgia to it. And I wouldn't say it's even the best thing ever.
Just the character
like
developments are incredible.
Oh yeah, because I mean, it's like you're literally like so many goddamn seasons of all of it. It's been running since I think it was like either 89 or like somewhere between 89 and 91 is when it started. Something crazy. So it's been going for like ever, and they're still going now. And then honestly, they had that like big gap between I think it was GT, which I mean we forget about that. That's
no, we forget about Dragon Ball Evolution. That's what we forget about. Yeah, GT is I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I have it, but I don't.
GT is a mixed bag, is the way I put it. I think there's a lot of cool concepts that I actually hope, because I mean, apparently, this is kind of. I'm trying to figure out how to say it. I guess it's kind of not canon, but at the same time, canon is kind of a retarded thing to even say when it comes to Dragon Ball Z, because I forget who the creator is, but when it comes to canon, he kind of has just been. He's straight up said before, he kind of makes this up as he goes. So canon's kind of just meh. Like, he's not like super serious about the whole canon thing, but for the most part, it's not canon. So I'm actually kind of hoping that maybe in the future we get to see some of those storylines from GT just redone in a different way. Yeah, I think there's a lot of cool concepts that are in there.
They did that with Madoka Magica. I know they're doing that with a lot of them.
Yeah, like for example, I like the idea of Super Saiyan 4. Like, you know how like he kind of is more of like more like ape-like. And I think there's something there because it's like I like the idea of now they're kind of creating different paths. Because, for example, like now anyone's paying attention is Goku's gone the path of like Ultra Instinct, which is kind of more like just being almost the idea of the Buddha being like one of the
SSGS. Yeah.
Yeah, which is like that's more like God power and like I don't know. I have one of my coworkers. We shoot the shit about this all the time. It's kind of like we've kind of I see them as like the Ultra Instinct is like a metaphor for like oneness with the universe. The God Super Saiyan evolutions is more like a like maybe like a pride. It would be a way to put it. Pride. Like yeah, and then like the Super Saiyan ones, like so say Super Saiyan 4 would be more like the one of like anger. So it'd be kind of cool maybe see like that be
it's like they're not even themselves anymore. It's like they're hard to control. Yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of which is what basically you boil down what the Saiyans are kind of a metaphor for, because they were like a warrior race and like meant to be consumed by their anger and become like the giant monkeys and fuck up worlds and shit. Yeah. So like I don't know. Anyways, Dragon Ball Z or actually not even Z. I always say Dragon Ball Z, but Dragon Ball in general just kick ass. There's a lot of nostalgia. I mean, it's kind of hard. I'm looking at it with rose-colored glasses because it's something I grew up with. But it's kind of cool. It's like something that's like transcends generations. So it's like even my older brother, like he watched the old school Dragon Ball, and I watched Dragon Ball Z, and then I watched Dragon Ball Super with my daughter. It's like it's kind of like
my kids love it too.
Yeah. So I'll stop droning on about that. Let's get on to best for new people that get into anime. What would you say for like what would you suggest for someone trying to just sneak into anime? And
so like I said, like my whole thing is all Yuri. Like I collect Yuri. That's my favorite genre. So I'd say for anybody getting into this specific genre, it's a little sus, but it's citrus. So what makes it a little sus is that basically they're stepsisters. And you already know where I'm going with this, but it's the student council president, you know, usual, everybody's the fucking student council president, the hot one, you know, and then their parents marry, and this girl is like trying to confess her love to her, but the main character May is like very, very dismissive, like, oh, I don't know if I'm into this, but then she like just pounces on her and starts making out, and then like they go to school and she's very tough on her, like, you know, like dominance, she's the fucking student council president, she's in charge, but as soon as they get home they're like really sneaky and like, you know.
What's the meme? Oh no, step bro.
Yeah, oh no, what are you doing, step bro?
Yeah, that's immediately what I thought of. We were like,
there's no blood relation, who cares, you know what I mean?
I mean, it's kind of weird. I mean, but yeah, because the brother I referenced earlier, I mean, I'm not gay, but like stepbrothers, it is weird. It's just something about like, I mean, like depending on when you met them. I mean, if you met them as like as in high school, I guess it's like okay, but still weird.
Yeah,
very weird about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so is that just straight up a romancy thing, or is there like action to it too? Or
there is no action in this one. This one's straight romancy, but it's very intense, like very intense emotions. Like as you're reading it, like you can feel like I like romance books. I like romance books, but I like the ones that have a nice plot. So I'll start reading one, and like Bloom Into You is another one that I started reading. It's just kind of too slow for me, and I just can't really get into it. But this one's so like their emotions are so different, and like just seeing her in charge of her, and like in two different like personalities that she has to portray, and like this one's like one of the most well-known ones.
All right, cool.
Which is why I say to get into it, and it's a very, very long series. So, and there is an anime for it. So if people just want to skip reading it, they could just watch it on Crunchyroll.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I ever explained this explicitly to you, but when I said anime when we were doing this episode, I kind of meant anime just and manga in general. Like, it didn't necessarily have to be one that has a show. Because, like, my last pick that I'm going to get into later for the Liberty Minded one is, it is kind of has its own anime, but it's also mostly just manga. Because it's like, I mean, I'll get into that later. But yeah, anyway, so my pick for best one to getting into, just like just starting, I picked My Hero Academia. And the reason why is it's very easy kind of get into, especially in today's age where like superheroes are such a big thing. And like, so it's basically an anime where it's like the whole premise of the show is that this is this world where like most everyone has superpowers. So like for some reason, no one knows why. I mean, I haven't read the manga. I mostly just read the anime or watched the anime. So I don't know if it's something to get into later, but anyways, no one knows why. They started manifesting powers for some reason on the world. And most people have it. Like the vast majority of people present powers of some sort. And so superheroing becomes a thing because with other people getting powers, villains become a thing. So they have to like have people combat it. And so it becomes this whole, like, becomes part of the culture almost where like they have powers and shit. So there's the main character is Deku or Izuku Midoriya. Deku is actually a term that's given to him by his rival. And I guess I don't know much about Japanese, but apparently I guess it's like a word that kind of has multiple meanings. I can't remember.
A lot of their words have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's a word that I guess can mean like useless or like I can't remember, like I think it's like puppet or something stupid. And then but then the other meaning, I can't remember what the other meaning was, but it was like kind of one of those things that he like it kind of becomes a thing later where he like actually uses it and becomes his hero name because like it's like he kind of accepts it and kind of like, but it's also a thing. I don't know. You'd have to understand Japanese or look into it deeply. Like he kind of takes it and takes a good meaning out of it. But anyways, the main character is Izuku Midoriya. He doesn't have any powers. And it's something that's like kind of fucked him up because he always was like really wanted to be a superhero. There was this one like basically the Superman-esque character is All Might. And he's like just the shit kind of deal. And he's just like super wholesome and everything. Very much a Superman character.
Is this a school setting? Is
yes.
this like another like, okay, high school? Because I know that most are. And I think that My Hero Academia and One Piece are the only ones that I haven't seen yet.
Yeah. No, it's good, and it's a great show to watch with the kids. I don't know how old your kids are. So I mean, that's another thing I watched with my daughter. But yeah, no. So Izuku Midoriya doesn't have any powers, but his big hero was All Might. And essentially, what happens is some scenario occurs. This isn't really much of a spoiler. I mean, I guess it's a spoiler for the first few episodes, but after that, it's kind of the whole premise of the show. Is he's super smart because he's like always fanboyed over like heroes, and he's like studied his ass off, and he's also got like they kind of imply he has like a really strong heart. You know, he always sticks up for people, and you know that generic anime thing that's kind of a common trope in anime, really. but he just a really wholesome character. And then this scenario happens where like all the heroes, like there's this one character, it's actually his rival, Bakugo, it's kind of like basically his bully, is being attacked by a villain. And because of the scenario, no other character, like other hero characters, are willing to step in. And he, with no powers, steps in and it kind of, most of the heroes after the fact are kind of like, what the fuck are you doing? But then the one who's his like hero, All Might, noticed. And he then pulls him aside later and it was like, I saw what you did. And he's like, and I want you to be my successor. And then come to find out his power is that his power is like an accumulative power where like you actually pass it on. So he's actually slowly losing his power and he actually can only hold his superhero form for so long. And so he ends up passing on the power to him, but it's supposed to be like the secret. And so it's kind of cool. It's a really good show. It's kind of like him. I don't know. I guess All Might ends up taking on this like mentorship role to him, and he kind of like helps him out. The really cool thing about the character that I always really
Uh-oh. Jose!
You there?
Yay!
I lost you for a minute. That was weird. I don't know what happened there. It was on both sides. Were you gone or all right? Anyways, this isn't very good. No one's gonna be interested in that. No one wants to hear us shoot the shit about whose router did what. But anyways, yeah, his thing is the power of One for All is it's so much that he can't completely contain it. So he's basically only able to go like to a certain percent at any given time. And so like, but if he goes past that, he basically fucks himself up. Like, so there's like multiple scenarios.
It's like Meliodas and it's like him going into the demon, like.
Yeah, kind of. His is more like he loses himself, but with Deku or Midoriya, his thing is like, he's put in a scenario where it's like he has to like fight this character to save some so-and-so. If he goes all out, he's gonna break his arm. Like, he's gonna shatter the shit out of it because he has so much power, but it's like his body can't handle that power yet. And so it's a thing of him like working up to it, learning how to use the power. It's also kind of cool too because he kind of like there's almost like a subtext of him learning to use the power in different ways than All Might, because All Might's just very much like a brawler, just super strong, like, and he kind of just uses it in a straightforward way. And like he has to learn ways around it, like how to like, operate at lower percentages for certain periods of time. I don't know, it goes into a lot. It's really cool. And it's kind of like, it really shows the drive of the character when he's put in like situations where to save someone, he has to like essentially break his whole fucking arm.
Jesus.
Yeah, there's some really amazing fight scenes where it's like.
It also reminds me of Vaughn from SDS.
Yeah, there's some really amazing fight scenes where it's like, I don't know, this show really gets you hype. I'm not gonna lie. There's a few times like, holy shit, because it's like.
Did you hear about Funimation buying Crunchyroll?
I think so. I heard
like
something
Sony
about that.
Funimation.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't quite know how I feel about that yet.
But yeah, there's a lot of great fight scenes in My Hero. I highly suggest it. And it's also like one of those ones that's like kind of easy to get into. It's very, I don't know, I guess user friendly would be the way to put it. I mean,
it sounds kid friendly, which is good because I'm like running out of ideas to watch things with my kids. Like,
yeah, like I did mention earlier, I kind of said this show actually has that one trope of the perv, kind of the Roshi, and there's this character named Mignetta, and his quirk is something ridiculous. Like he has like sticky balls on his head that he can throw and stick, but he like uses them different ways. It's ridiculous, but he's a super perv, and that's like his whole thing is just being a perv and trying to like skirts and stuff. So, like, but aside from that, it's super wholesome. I'm not gonna lie. There's sometimes I'm like, oh, God damn it. Yeah. All right, cool. So let's move into the most liberty-minded. I do want to preface that anime is one that's difficult to do that with. I had a hard time picking it, so I kind of had to get a little over analytical with mine. I'm not sure if you have the same problem. It's not a very, it's from Japan. I mean, I wouldn't say they're necessarily a liberty-minded culture, but at the same time, with like character tropes and like story in general, that there is kind of, it's almost hard to avoid.
It's hard to because most of them are very, I'd hate to say it, misogynist.
Yeah.
In many ways, but like it is art. It is literature. Like you're gonna read things and either you don't like it or you embrace it. It is what it is. Like it's. Yeah. But okay, so you're gonna like this one because I did pick Dragon Ball for my Liberty-oriented one. Oh, my dog. So this is why. Listen, this man is kicking everybody's ass because he's a patriot for his planet. Like, him and Krillin have literally kicked everybody's ass in the fucking universe to save this planet. So to me, that is very patriotic, right? And if you also think about the way that he approaches even Beerus and Whis, like, yes, they do have higher power levels than him, but he talks to them like they're normal people. And I feel like that's how libertarians talk to politicians that are in a higher power than them. They're like, hey, you know, like, I don't really care that you can kick my ass. Like, I still want to try to go one-on-one with you. I still want to, you know, I still want to be on good terms with you. And, you know, like, he's not intimidated by them at all. You know, he's even just like, we can even fight. We can fight one-on-one. I know that you can probably kick my ass, but let's do this. Like,
he's not a believer in the superstition of authority, essentially.
Yeah,
is what you're
and he
getting
gives
at.
people a chance. He gives people a chance, you know, like when he was fighting Frieza. You know what I mean? Like, he gives people a chance to be peaceful. And, you know, if push comes to shove, you gotta, you know, tear some heads off.
I'm not reading the manga, but I kind of keep up to date. I don't know if you've been paying attention to the manga too, the latest arc with Moro. I know the big thing everyone got pissed off about was that he gave fucking Moro, like the big bad villain, he was like beating his ass, and and I guess because Goku's just an asshole, or not an asshole, just more like an idiot. He's just like
he's just naive.
Well, he just likes to fight, and it really, if anything, that's kind of his flaw in his character. Is like he doesn't give a shit if the world's at stake. If he sees an opportunity for a better fight, he's gonna take it. So like he gives Moro a senzu bean at one point, even though he basically has him beat. Just kind of be like, hey, let's go again, round 2.
Yeah, it's like he's just too cocky. Like that's his Saiyan pride in him. I get it, but like at the same time, like that is a character flaw. It is.
I think he apologizes later because they're kind of like, what the fuck. But yeah, because he almost like destroys the whole fucking world. And I guess he actually gets to like angel level power. So like the deity is trying to get freaked the fuck out. Like, oh my god, Goku, what the fuck did you do? Yeah,
it's like it's all a fucking game to him. But like,
but no, that is. I can see that. And the kind of point I was getting at before though is that like even though there's not really explicitly like liberty-minded themes in anime, I think just storytelling in general, it's hard not to be. I think a thing of the human spirit in general, it's just like even the hero's journey. Like I know there's like the whole like, you know, general template of like how you make stories is the hero's journey, and it kind of follows. There's like people have wrote whole books on like how to write stories of the hero's journey. That's what most stories in general kind of follow a rough template of, and that template is just, in a sense, kind of unavoidably just liberty minded.
It
like,
is.
No matter how you look at it, it's. I mean, like people try to.
It's boobs, guns, and like just everything. Like you know.
Well, it's usually just like triumph of the individual over, you know, whatever. So it's just in general at a very vague level. It's kind of just liberty minded. But anyways, I'll get into mine. Yeah. Berserk is what I picked.
Okay.
Which I'm not sure if you're familiar with Berserk. I'm sure you are.
I've seen a couple episodes. I've seen a couple episodes of it. Like I haven't gotten too far into it, but I have seen a couple episodes.
Yeah, Griffith did nothing wrong. If anyone knows that reference. Anyways, all right, the whole premise, I feel like it's a little bit of a spoiler because it's actually like a huge story arc, but at the same time, it's kind of the whole premise of the story. So even spoiler, I'm gonna go into like kind of what the whole first like story arc is, and like because that kind of like leads into what the whole but like I think there was an anime, but it's mostly a manga. The attempts at making like animes have been kind of like, man, they made a couple of movies. I think it was like a 2-part thing, but then they kind of like ended it at a really weird spot, and it was kind of like they never made another one. Yeah. But anyways, the whole premise of Berserk is the main character's Guts, who's this kid who kind of grew up in war, became a mercenary, is just kind of like a super badass, but he's had a really fucked up life. And he kind of ends up falling into this group of mercenaries where the leader is this character named Griffith. And it's like the mercenaries are like I think the Band of the Hawks or something. And Griffith is this very inspirational character, but he's just blatantly said that his whole thing is about his whole, you know, mantra as a human being is striving for power. And he's like, he essentially like just wants to, because he started, I guess, essentially as a peasant. He works his way up. It's kind of like feudal.
That reminds me of Onyx Equinox.
Yeah, it's kind of like a feudalish system, sort of. It's very like medieval, so it's kind of like they're, you know, it's kind of this whole like almost semi-caste system where they're knights, lords, and for him to try to like ascend that is a little bit, kind of So he ends up kind of ascending, and he kind of gets in good with like the king, and his whole thing is he's trying to become like take as much power as possible is what Griffith's thing is. And like, Guts and him kind of develop this like mutual respect / friendship. And then how do I explain this? Essentially it boils down to, there comes this point where in this story, I kind of got to digress a little bit. There are characters who are demons. Demons are a part of this realm in this like story. And one of the big things is that there are like essentially these people who are demons or were formerly humans that essentially took like a Faustian deal, which essentially means they had to like give up something to become a demon. And usually what the thing is the thing they love most. So there's a lot of fucked up stories in this. And essentially what it ends up happening is Griffith gets a Faustian deal. And the idea is he has to like destroy that which he loves, and he does it. And so he basically he allows demons to like kill his entire band of mercenaries, and like who was kind of like not really his lover, but like a chick who loved him, but Guts loved as well, and tries to kill Guts and her. And Guts, being the badass that he is, he literally fights off demons and gets out. But because he was like essentially was marked for killing by demons, so his whole thing is at that point is he's marked, and I guess the whole idea is his whole entire existence is he's followed by demons now, and he has to fight demons for his whole life. And his whole story becomes, I haven't actually finished the story because it's a pretty long story, but because I've been reading the manga, but he essentially at that point it's more of like a revenge story. But the main crux of the story was how Griffith fucked them all over, and just in his attempt for power, he's willing to just destroy everything and just like not even caring.
So complex.
Yeah, exactly. It's just it's the idea of the people vying for power in general. It's just like, and how they will fuck you over, and like you shouldn't look at, I don't know, you shouldn't idolize anybody in that way, essentially. And then like Guts kind of has the scars to prove it, and it's a really badass book. And movies. I would not suggest watching with your kids. It's really fucked up. Like even the demons are like the most like fucked up thing you can think of. Like think about if you took an acid trip and then thought of what demons look like. That's probably what these demons look like. They are just sick, fucked up, like just weird amalgamations of human flesh and just monstrosities. Like it's something else. Like
that reminds me of Seven Deadly Sins a lot.
They put their demons to shame. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, you have to look into it. There's a couple movies, and I would suggest going that. The movies end at the end of the Faustian deal. So it actually feels weird with the movies because you're kind of like, what? This is how we're ending it? Because they don't ever make another one. So it's kind of like we're ending it with Griffith killed everybody and now Guts is all fucked up. And that's it. Like, but I like I said, there's more to the story. I haven't seen how it finished, and like reading the manga. The manga's really long. It's a very long ongoing story. I guess after that point, kind of the trope is like he kind of goes, just travels the world just looking for other demons, and just kind of like, because he's just like a human being fueled by rage. He's like a shell of a human being at that time. Yeah. Yeah. So it's really cool. I like it. I thought it was a really cool one. It's very liberty minded in that way, and like, kind of how power corrupts and stuff, So like, and he gave up all of that just to have power. And I think there's a lot to be said there. Yeah. And then that concludes it. So you got any plugs to drop? Well, I got you here. Last week.
Yeah, my Twitter is just my first and last name, so Chase Takach. My Instagram is the opposite, so Takach Chase, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Cool. All right, like I said earlier, I also got the fucking I got the God, I'm having a brain fart right now. I got the audio pod going up now, so I know a lot of people prefer to do the audio, and so I'm on that. It'll be in the video description. Like I said, I'm also promoting my channel now. So like I said, this will be on the Liberty Movement YouTube channel as well, because this is obviously cultural, non-political. But I am in the future I'm going to be expanding more. For example, I'm planning on doing like an agorism versus politics one here soon that I'm sure a lot of people might get pissed off about. I'm more approaching it from like an educational stance, because a lot of people have misconceptions of what agorism is, and people say shit like, "Oh, agorism and politics are completely compatible." Not if you understand what agorism is.
Not really. Well, while we're here and on this topic, can I show off my collection?
Oh yeah, sure. Go for it. I guess this would be the appropriate time.
So I don't know if you guys can see that. At least start with that, and then since I'm a fucking nerd, you guys will see this. Why I chose Dragon Ball. So I added a couple to my collection today. There's that, and then obviously Shenron, and then, and these are all my manga. This Elfin Lied was actually the first one that I've gotten into. So, yep.
Yeah, I'm a little jealous. Like comic books and like manga and stuff, they're not cheap. So
No,
yeah,
not at all.
like yeah, I mean, so far as my manga stuff, all I really got is like a couple little figurines. Got like Broly and Gogeta, but most of my stuff, as people could see, is mostly comic stuff. But yeah, I got My Hero is a big one that I really liked. I almost put it as my favorite because I love that show. It's a great show.
I gotta get into that. So many people have recommended it to me, and Berserk actually. A lot of people recommended it to me, and I just I feel like I have so many that I need to finish and I've gotten into.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean, and it's like, for example, like Berserk, like I'm reading so many damn things at one time that it's like, or watching that's like fucking hard to keep up. So it's like, and you always want to finish the story, but it's like,
yeah.
I
know I'm halfway through all these books and I'm like, fuck, and I forgot what was happening in another one. Like, I'm like, what was their name again? And
yeah, no, I understand the struggle. And then people be like, well, you haven't watched this? And it's like, yeah, because I don't know. I can't watch a million things at once.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, so plugs, like I said, I got the audio pod, got the YouTube channel I'm doing. For Liberty Movement, we got we got the Facebook group, we got MeWe, we're on a BitChute. We got an email at thelibertymovementglobal@gmail.com. Yeah, if you want, shoot us an email because we are compiling email lists. At one point, we'll get legit and like actually set up a legit email list because we want to try to get like a site and newsletter going at some point. We got our merch too that my buddy sets up. So yeah. So you got anything else to add before we do out?
Not really.
All right, cool. Figures, might as well you're holding that doll like you're trying to show it off.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I cuddle with these. These are like I swear to God, I'm such a child.
I feel you.
I'm the biggest weeb on the planet.
I mean, you see my room. This is a sitting room that's adjoined to my master bedroom. I have no idea how my wife was ever cool with that, but she was like, "Yeah, that sounds like a great idea." I'm like, "What? I never thought you'd be cool with that." Okay.
And that's why she's wife.
Yeah. But all right, with that, yeah, make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good shit, whatever, or don't. I don't really care. Do what you want. But all right, with that, deuces. It's great having you, man. Not man, but you know what I mean. All right, see you, bye.
See ya.